All right, guys, welcome back to the Southeast Gassers race recap here. I have the race director for SEGA, Randy Edmonds, here with me. And you guys have just come off of the Buckeye Nationals up in Xenia, Ohio. I'm saying that right?
Yes.
Xenia, Ohio. And everything that I have seen leading up to this, I've been studying a little, and it seems like you guys had a pretty exciting weekend.
Oh, it was very exciting. Kil-Kare Raceway, there's a long history at Kil-Kare. I'm not sure how many years it's been open, but we've been going there. This is their 5th year now that we've been going there.
Okay.
But Ron Vance and the crew up there did an absolute wonderful job. We got rained out on Friday night.
Right.
And couldn't do anything on Friday. It looked like we were going to get it in, and then it came a downpour.
So that's 2 races in a row you guys haven't got to race on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did get some in at Shady Side.
Did you? Okay, it was delayed because of the wind.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
The wind was rough down there. But the track was, they worked their hind ends off up there to get the track going, and they had thought we were going to get it in on Friday, and then it came a downpour, and it was so late that it was probably going to take 2 hours or so. By the time that we got that done, it was just going to be, the track was going to be cold
Right.
and everything. So it wasn't worth the effort to try to get it in on Friday night. And then, so then it didn't rain anymore until late in the night.
Okay.
I think I heard some sprinkles on the motorhome around 2 or so, and then 5 it opened up and rained pretty hard again. So at a little after daylight, I'm talking to Leslie, and then 8 o'clock or so, we're sitting in our motorhome, Leslie and I, we're sitting there talking and trying to figure out what we're going to do. I'm trying to get Ron on the phone, finally get Ron. Actually woke him up, I think. And so we're going back and forth, and he sends me a weather chart from a local one that shows not anything going on till about 3:30.
Okay.
So he comes onto the track. We talk. Leslie and Tom White and I were talking, and Tom, he throwed out there. He said, "Well, maybe y'all don't make a decision until about 12 or something." So, which was a good thought, and so we went with that, and so we moved the drivers' meeting up till 12 from 11, and Ron got there, and they got started on the track. Had it ready by 1.
Wow.
And but these guys have great equipment there. Whoever redid that track, when the owner now has got the track, they come in and they spent millions of dollars on that track, redoing the track and the walls and the drainage.
Okay.
They've got I think it's a 1-degree crown in the track, and then there's drains all the way down both walls.
Gotcha.
And I guess it's 10 o'clock or so, maybe after that. Ron sends me a picture, and they've got a batwing bush hog out there that's probably 20-some feet wide, and they've got it going down the track, blowing the air.
Yeah.
Then they've got Skag standers with blowers on them. And then blowers behind it. They got the brush tractor over here, and it's sweeping that water at an angle off into the drains.
Wow.
And
They built their very own NASCAR-style air titans.
Well, they did something there this weekend that NHRA would be pressed to do.
Yeah.
They'd be hard pressed to do what they did this weekend.
Right.
They got us going.
That's awesome.
They did an absolutely great job. Had it ready by 1 o'clock. We started almost right on time, and then it downpoured before we got the first round through. There was like 3 cars left in A gas. So we didn't get to go again.
Right.
Didn't get. So it's pouring. Absolutely pouring. I made it to the restroom. They've got a big, what they call a pavilion, but it's actually just a great big shop that they park all their equipment in. And I'm standing there in the door of the restroom and look, and I can see Ron over there, so he calls me. And he says, I can see blue sky. He said, and this is 3:30 going on 4. And he says, looking at the weather, it looks like we're going to be able, he said, I can have this going in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. He said, I could have it ready to go. And he said, he said, we're going to do it for the fans. We're going to do it for the racers.
Right.
And I said, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. So at 5:35, I think it is, the track was ready to go, and they got started around 4.
Wow.
So
took them an hour and a half.
Yeah. So we had a green track again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 3 cars that were left were Quayne, Dean Jonas, and Leslie had a bye run.
Okay.
And so they were back out to a green track again.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone saw that pass with Quayne, he went through the trap on 2 wheels at the very least.
Right.
And not many could have took that car through there like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you sent me the video because we talked about it on the phone, and then I hadn't seen it. Yeah.
But anyway, just hats off to Kil-Kare Raceway crew, the owner for giving them the equipment to do that with.
Yes.
They couldn't have done that without his backing and him spending the money to get them the equipment to do it with.
For sure.
And
that's really important when it's one of your furthest tracks away too, because you guys are having to probably Mississippi's probably the furthest.
It is.
It's
okay,
this
year. This year it is the furthest.
So man, that's awesome that they would put the work in to make sure that they did, to make that happen. Because if it was Shadyside, a lot of people in this area live here. You could get back there, maybe if they had open in the schedule, but it's hard to go back to Ohio. Well,
and then on Sunday we're so far away.
Mm-hmm.
We had a low car count anyway because of the distance and just different circumstances. Some people just different circumstances. People couldn't be there.
Right, of course.
And and it's so we had a lower car count, and then we were concerned that if we didn't get it on Saturday, would it even be worth trying on Sunday because people's going to head back home?
Going home,
You've already got the people that went out on, earlier in the first round,
mm-hmm.
and most definitely they're going to leave,
right?
But so there was a lot going on there and stuff. But the fans, the Ohio fans, I'm not slighting any fan we've got in the world, but the Ohio fans are different. I come through there, 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's been raining. Everything's wet. It's cloudy, looking like it could rain again. And there's fans everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm riding through and on the scooter. Had some issues with one scooter, so it was a lot of walking for me this weekend too. So I'm walking through the fans, and I'm saying, hey, thank you for coming, appreciate you being here. And they're saying, no, thank you for being here.
Right.
And it's, that's just the kind
and
of
that's,
stuff.
And that is a perk of kind of going out of your comfort area, mm-hmm. right? And you're kind of going into a market that's a little different than, the Southeast a little bit. And they're going to get excited because it's just one time a year
mm-hmm.
they've got a chance to get there,
And Ohio is gasser country.
Right. Yeah. True.
It's a lot of history there in the gasser field.
Right. It's very true.
Just one instance, Tara did get out. She had a fractured ankle, and mm-hmm. she's out in her boot riding around in a golf cart and hauling people to different places this weekend up there. And one guy was wanting to know where Southeast Gasser's gear trailer's at.
Right.
So she says, I'll just take you. So he's going down through there, and he's saying, hey, I saw that car on YouTube, or this, that, and the other, and he's just naming off all this stuff, and they get to talking about him not going on Friday night. He said, it killed me. He said, I almost cried.
Really?
Yeah, he said, I was tore up.
He was upset.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, they're dedicated fans.
Yeah.
Dedicated fans. I had probably at least, in the very least, 100 people come up to me and thank us for being there.
That's super
We
cool.
had people from Ontario, Canada. We had people from California. It's amazing, at the following that we get because of the type of racing we do.
Yeah, that's true.
And just Monday Morning Racer. I was listening to it a little bit on the way out here, and they were Quayne was on there, and we were talking about just the quality of racing and the close, tight racing we have. You know, and Quayne, said that, there's probably not anything out there, like it other than NHRA Pro Stock as far as close.
That's true. Yeah.
We're some of the closest racing in the world.
Yeah, I would fully agree with that. Especially if you look, when we talked about it last time too, if you look at the different possible combinations and how close it is, I don't think there's anybody that's doing it like you guys are. Because, if you look at a Pro Stock class, they're running the same cars. Basically. I know there's different components, things like that. But you guys got guys, Quayne's in an Anglia, Les is in a 55, Falcons. You've got everything out there. It's just you do not see it anywhere else.
No, you got Quayne's Anglia, you got Gabriel's Model A.
Yes, that's true.
You've got Willis's, you've got it's just a little bit of everything. And so many different combinations, as you say. You got big block Fords, you got small block Chevys, you got big block Chevys. And it's just there's just a lot. And again, I give a lot of credit to Quayne on getting these things equal.
Of course, yeah,
as equal as they are.
Yeah, there's a lot of studying and time and thought and testing that went into it.
And too, and listening and watching all the stuff that's been going on Facebook and the back and forth with he and Leslie and stuff, which it's actually hilarious. If you haven't saw it, you need to go read some of this stuff. But he's made a couple of comments about the most penalized combination.
Yes, I had that on my notes to talk about. Yep.
But he seems to tend to forget that he's the one that made that.
He built the rules. He made the rules and then decided to go into the most penalized one.
Yeah. So, but anyway,
Well, since we're talking about that, I was thinking about that, and for somebody that's listening, maybe that doesn't. Maybe they're seeing all these comments and they can see the outside racing, but they don't know exactly what Quayne means by that. So he's running a small block Chevy in an Anglia. And so why is that the most penalized? And not only why, but how is it the most penalized?
Well, he's 6 pounds per cubic inch.
Okay.
Big block Chevy is 5 3/4.
Okay.
The small bore, small valve version of the big block gets another 1/8 pound.
Okay.
The 385 series Ford, like Gabe runs, gets 5/8 of a pound.
Okay.
So off of that 6. So, but back again, how equal are they?
For sure, absolutely.
And I will give Quayne this that in the past, the small block has been the dominant one. You look at Kenneth. You look back at the Frequent Flyer, and when they had a small block in it, they were the 2 cars. And but so somewhere along the way, the big block was given that 1/4 pound, and then at one time they it was kind of like to try to help the people that were going to run the stock block 396 stuff, something like that.
Okay.
With that other 1/8 of a pound, but the way it was put in the rules, the engine builders out there looked at this and say, hey. We can get this brake. We can run a small cubic inch. Get this brake, run it less weight. And it's been.
Deadly.
At one time, up until Leslie took the record, that combination had the record in Todd Blackwell's car.
Okay.
So.
So and on top of it, not to pad Quayne's ego anymore, but. He's also running an Anglia, which is a 96-inch wheelbase?
94, I think.
94-inch
94,
wheelbase?
I think.
Compared to the 55, it's 112?
112, and then, like, Greg's car is 115, maybe more.
Yeah, so he probably has the most penalized combination and probably one of the most ill-handling cars based off wheelbase that you could have.
Oh, yeah.
So he's absolutely wheeling it, man.
And everybody needs to go and watch the Monday Morning Racer.
Yeah.
There was some comments on there about that, and You know, I mean, you got to give Quayne credit. You know, I mean, the car has been out of shape more than it's been in shape.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Right.
if you look at all the runs he's ran since he got that car, the car, there's been more times he went down on the track out of shape than he went straight.
Right. Right.
But since Quayne has got serious about racing, since he's not owner anymore, the car is going straighter.
Right.
You know, I mean, he's more serious, I guess
Right.
you could say. But you go back to when Ben Christopher had the car, Ben didn't go straight either.
Right.
You know, I mean, the car's is a handful.
Yeah.
But Anglias are a handful.
Just, yeah, period.
I mean, look
Yeah.
back at Quayne, at Donovan in White Trash.
Mhm.
You know, you know, I mean, there's been some episodes in it. Now, Gerard's got that car, and he's had some issues too with the cars. You know, I mean,
Right.
Anglias are just that way.
Right,
You know? I mean,
exactly.
it's just any small, short wheelbase car is going to be that way.
And I feel like probably most everybody that's watching this probably knows, but I mean, of course, if you increase the wheelbase of your car, it's going to help with the handling. You know what I mean? Like a short wheelbase is going to have a lot snappier steering on it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more responsive to any sort of input you put in the steering wheel. Where if you increase that wheelbase, there's a little bit more, I guess, lag, if you will. Wouldn't you? I think that's
Yeah,
how you'd say it. Just
yeah.
a little bit more lag. It's a little easier to control because it doesn't respond as quickly, right? And that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and you look at what Quayne didn't wreck, at how much finesse it took to not wreck, at the small movements of the wheel to keep. I mean, you know, a lot of people would panic and turn the wheel,
For sure.
and then they're rolling.
Yeah.
They're side over side.
Yeah.
Maybe even end over end.
Right.
You know, but Quayne's experience, Donovan was the same way. You know, when we saw Donovan turn the car around and slide backwards, you know, before, and just a lot of different stuff in those little cars that takes finesse.
Yeah.
But the deal, the back and forth between him and Leslie is really good. They both are taking it well. You know, I mean, I don't think anybody's getting their feelings hurt. You know, they are some guys. I'll say this: there are some guys within our organization that would be fighting mad over what's going on
Yeah.
out there. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, their feelings would be hurt.
And outside looking
You
in,
know.
I could see why. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, and what
But-
we're to fill you guys in if you haven't looked at it, and definitely go to Quayne's Facebook and to Leslie, the chick magnet. I know he's back on there now. He had some issues with his Facebook page, but they've been going back and forth, and Quayne and Leslie's calling Quayne the little toad. You know, because he's
Yeah.
got the little green Anglia, and then you know
Yeah.
it's
You know,
just
and-
a lot of
And
fun.
then Quayne finds a picture of a frog eating
Eating a chicken.
It looks like it's asleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true.
I mean, you know, it's just, I mean, you know, Quayne played some tricks on the line, and he waited to the last second to go in.
I don't know. I don't know if you call them tricks as much as you just a lot of thinking.
Well,
Quayne did a lot of thinking on the
and,
line, you know.
and he did something up there that throwed me off, and
Yeah.
I'm standing there watching him, you know, and so you know, I mean, there was and it's great.
It's all
It's
within the rules.
great.
That's what's
Yeah,
great about
it's
it. You know, it
great,
all
you know.
falls in the rules, and it's
Yeah,
and even not
yeah.
being able to be there, I've just got to watch videos on Facebook or whatever, and I've just. Yeah, it's been just a good weekend of a good week following this weekend of just things like that I've just really, it's fun to engage and to watch, you know.
You know, by the time Leslie left, Quayne had 3/10 on him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and then I think it ended up around a 10th margin of victory at the end. So, I mean,
Leslie
you know,
made up.
Oh yeah,
You know,
he made
was
up
pulling.
a lot
He
of
was
it, but it
pulling.
wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't enough. No, definitely wasn't enough.
So in all that being said and everything, you know, in this little deal going here, you know, it's Quayne won.
Yeah, win
Leslie
turned on.
0.
Again, we talk about with y'all's deal first to the
and,
finish line, heads up. That's it. He got there. You know.
There's been a lot of talk about match racing stuff. Quayne's not going to match race him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and just like he said, I want to hurt him bad. I want to take him out in eliminations.
Right.
You know, and so You know, I mean, it's just kind of the way the chips fall on whether they'll meet again into next race, or
Right.
it might be 2 or 3 races before they meet again.
Right.
But this will probably keep going on until they meet again.
Of course,
You
yeah.
know?
It has to. It has to.
And then if Quayne gets him again, it'll keep
Oh,
going.
yeah. Hey, I think if Leslie gets him, he might keep it going too.
Well, that's true too. That's true too. Yeah.
Oh,
But it was,
fun.
yeah, it was fun, and it still continues to be fun. You know, I mean, and that's what's so great about what they're doing. The back and forth is great. You know, just like I say, you know, I mean, it's all in fun. You know,
And,
go back.
and to go back to kind of to bring it full circle a little bit to what we were talking about, you don't see things like that at any other event, whether
No.
it be NHRA or whatever sort of racing. So you've got all these different combinations. You've got super close racing, and then you've got guys who have raced like Quayne, who's raced their entire lives, and they know
Yeah.
every little trick, and you get to see it. You know, something.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like I said, he was doing stuff I had never seen before, and I grew up around racing my whole life. And you go, man, just like never thought about that. Dang, like he's just next level on what
Yeah.
what he's doing. And it's just cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I've saw Mitch do the countdown deal. Wait to
right.
the last second to go in. I saw
I've seen
Mitch do
that
that
one,
a
yeah.
couple of times last year and stuff. You know, I mean, Mitch and Quayne come up together.
Mm-hmm.
They know these, and there was some rivalries between Quayne and Mitch back in the day.
Oh,
you
I'm
know?
sure.
I mean, and a lot of trash talk and stuff
Mm-hmm.
between them. You know, and probably helped their career.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all that stuff probably helped their career, you know. And, yeah, you can't, it's hard to beat knowledge. It's hard to beat experience.
Seat time.
Yeah.
Seat time. It
And,
really pays off.
Yes. You know, and you have a lot of people out here that race with us that think that they're going to come in here and they're going to win. You know, I mean, I'm gonna dollar them.
Yeah.
You know, and it can happen, but it's rare that
It's
it
hard.
does happen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, these guys are serious.
It hurts your
You know what
feelings.
I
I mean,
Yeah,
they could flat out hurt your feelings if they wanted
yeah.
to.
When,
you know.
when it comes to the starting line, you know, I mean, they're ready to cut your throat.
Yeah, right.
You know, so you know, but. And then Quayne said this in Monday Morning Racer a while ago, you know, and until he gets up there, he'll loan you parts, you know. Or
Yeah, right.
When he gets back to the trailer, he'll loan you parts. But, you know, I mean.
Even and just another thing that you probably don't see at a lot of places. You know, everybody's helping everybody
Yeah,
until
yeah.
that green light turns on.
And Leslie the same way. I mean, you know, Leslie, he'll loan you anything, you know. I mean, you know, he'll help you any way he can, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what you see in Southeast Gassers.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what a lot of what you hear,
Right.
you know, about Southeast Gassers.
For sure. Well, so we've been talking about the racing, I know, but so let's dig into the classes a little bit more like we normally do. We got a little deeper than I expected us to, but it's just been so much fun.
It has, and it's, you know, I mean, and just like I say, go to Monday Morning Racer and watch that, and just go to Chick Magnet's site, go to Quayne's site, go to Southeast Gasser's stuff, you
Yep.
know, Period Correct. You know, some of that stuff there, and see what's going on. It's interesting. But getting to the race, you know, we had, like I say, we had a small count on cars. We didn't have any HGS cars. We didn't have any AFX cars. So we'll go straight into Super Stock.
Okay.
We had a low count on Super Stock also. It came down to Jerry Dean and Randy Kiefer. Jerry Dean took the win again. That's 3 in a row for him.
Yep.
It's actually 4 in a row for him because he won Shady Side
last year.
Yeah, and but Kiefer runner up again in Pontiac. We actually when it came down and us getting started again. Looked at the weather and wasn't really sure what might happen there. Brian Dalton had to leave. He was supposed to run Jerry Dean, I believe. Yeah, he was supposed to run Jerry Dean, and he had to leave because of sickness in his family.
Okay.
And so there was both of them was going to have a bye run.
Mm-hmm.
So to eliminate that one run, I thought, you know, let's just see if they'll flip for it.
Okay.
So I go talk to Randy. Randy says, sure. Go talk to Jerry. And Jerry ended up wanting to talk to them. And they worked it all out. And they flipped
And you
for
say
it.
flip for lane choice.
Flip for lane choice
Gotcha.
instead of making that pass, you know. So
Because it would normally go to best ET?
yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
I was just making sure.
So, yeah, exactly. So that worked out where we could go ahead and skip those 2 runs down the track. So that saved us a little time.
Right.
And so just a little bit about Jerry Dean. Jerry Dean worked with Dennis Mitchell. Any of you that followed modified and comp and stuff back in the days, Dennis Mitchell was a 6-time IHRA champion.
Okay.
And so that's where a lot of Dean's knowledge and experience come from way back then. You know, he ran in the 60s. He started drag racing, and then he was the fastest superstock car at Bailington for years.
Okay.
And but he ended up going into circle track racing and was very successful for many years in it.
Okay.
And ran a lot of different stuff in the Alabama area down there and stuff. And ended up running some super gas. He started racing again in 15. Ended up running some super gas, but just, you know, he did not want to do any bracket racing.
Gotcha.
That's one reason he ended up circle track racing. He just didn't like bracket racing.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit about Jerry. You know, I mean, there's a lot of knowledge there. Karen Mitchell, which is Dennis's daughter, she is the crew chief for him and his car there, and there's a lot of knowledge in that lady. You know, she knows a lot about small block Chevys and racing. If you watch them come up to the line, she does everything the same way every time.
That's so important. That's so important.
But they work hard on the car, you know. I mean, it's the car gets torn from one end to the other after every race and stuff. So he is looking to go to gas class. Tim Irwin is building him a car. I'm not sure if it's going to be B gas or C gas, but there's a car being built for him. But I talked with him today. He gave me a call today. He's looking at maybe running some super stock and gas classes.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. But going into C gas, Todd Oden ended up winner. Tim Hall runner up because of the points leader. Brad Wimberly couldn't make it this race, so he fell back out of the points lead. Todd went from third to first with his win.
This is 2 in a row for Todd, right?
It's 2 in a row for Todd.
I love watching that car. Is so massive, and to watch it hook up on the line, it's just something else.
Yeah, and then it's just they work hard on that car also. You know, and anybody that's winning does. You know, I mean, I've heard Quayne say it many times. You know that the race is won in the shop.
Yep.
You know, so Tim Hall, new engine combination. I think this may be the second race they've had that. They're getting it dialed in. I noticed this weekend the car sounds different than it ever has. It's got a different tone to it. And so they're getting it dialed in. He ran as fast as Todd. One round there, so they're close.
Equal,
they're really close. So Tim's running for 3 in a row.
Okay,
You know, I mean, and then don't never count him out.
Right.
You know, so them guys are working hard. He went from 5th to 3rd in the points this weekend, and this is my calculations, looking at the shady side and looking at the ladders and just kind of, and I may be off on something there, you know, but that's you know, close maybe.
All point standings in this podcast are unofficial.
Thank you. But Todd Oden, anybody that knows Todd and have followed Todd, he's a fierce competitor. He has won in A, B, C, and D classes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was D-Gas champion in 17.
Okay. What was D-Gas? You guys
D-Gas was, right? At one time, there was thought that there was going to be room for 4 classes.
Okay.
And they were going to put all that in there together. There was I'm not exactly sure how that all worked out.
Understood.
You know, the point, I mean, you know, the weight differences and stuff, it was going to be so close with times and weight and everything, there ended up being 3 classes.
Understood. That makes sense.
So, and they just went at A, B, and C.
Okay.
So, D gas became C gas.
Okay.
You know, so if you look back, on some of the championship of the 58, some of the championship photos, it had degas on it.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
so he was a degas champion in 17. In 18, it became CGAS.
Okay.
And yeah, he's and they're coming out with Michael Oden, Todd's son, is going to BGAS. Well, he's already been running some BGAS stuff, but he is coming out with a new Nova.
Okay.
Which it is actually the old Annie Bird Nova.
Okay.
And fuel injected, small block, one-way technologies. Of course, he runs one-way technologies in the 58 also. Very, very strong engine in that car. So look forward to seeing him out there. It's Double Down. Pretty sure they call the car Double Down, but it's Oden and Son Racing, and that's what was on Todd's car when his dad was still.
Oh, really?
Around. Yeah,
oh, that's
so,
awesome. That's a cool little throwback
yeah,
for them.
Yeah,
then.
and then he's third generation, you know, so it's all good stuff with them. Then going into BGAS, it came down to Daniel Haynes and Ken Rainwater. Ted McKee came in there, and I mean he was running really well, and they had a fuel leak on the line and had to back them out. So that was one bullet out of the way, you know. So Colby didn't show up for this race. He was points leader, so he didn't show up for this race with his car. So that opened the door for somebody to take the lead there. And going in, Ken Rainwater hit the wall in practice on Friday night at Shadyside. So he's going in 15th in the points, ends up going to the finals. Daniel Haynes has had some trouble first couple of races, not ran up to par with, you know, for his, you know, what he normally does. And so he's coming in 9th.
Okay, yeah.
So this is Daniel's 5 in a row that he's went to the finals in Ohio.
Wow.
3 wins.
He likes it up there, don't he?
And even more now.
Even more now, yeah.
I actually talked to Daniel earlier today, you know, and he likes that. But Daniel is like myself. He likes going to Ohio. He likes the trip there and everything. It's an enjoyable
so
ride
you go
for
in,
me.
He kind of goes in with that mindset.
Yeah, we go
that
the
makes
same,
a big difference.
We go the same way. We go up 26 to 23. To 52 to 35 and right into the track, you know, and it's all scenic, you know, it's just absolutely beautiful. Some of the guys don't like it because it's curvy and hilly, you know, but there's several of us that enjoy going that way.
We're used to it.
Yeah.
Us around here, we're just used to
it's
it.
Home. Yeah, it's home. But Daniel moved from 9th to 1st in the points, if my calculations is right.
Unofficial, remember.
Yeah, so I think that he gained.
That's a massive jump.
Yeah, I think he's up 5 on Colby.
Gotcha.
Now.
Okay.
So Rainwater moved from 15th to 7th.
Dang.
Again, if my calculations
right.
But you know, so with the trouble that Rainwater had, he would probably be tied for 2nd or 3rd if he hadn't had the trouble at Shadyside.
Right.
You know, so you know, but and then we get into Quayne. You know, Quayne had almost wrecked first round.
Yes, he did.
You know, most people would have wrecked first round. Then takes Leslie out 2nd round. Kenneth Red Light 3rd round. You know, so and then you come into the finals with him and Chase Howard, and Chase had not went straight all day until his bye run before running into the finals, and the car went straight and looked good.
Yeah,
he comes up, leaves the line, the car goes sideways. From what I understand, his foot got hung up, and he's in and out of the gas every time it jerks him.
And that's exactly what it looks like.
It's throwing him all over the car and stuff, you know. I mean, and there's a lot of armchair quarterbacks out there saying all kinds of stuff, you know. That I mean that you know, probably couldn't drive a smart car.
Come on.
It really gets on my nerves when you got these people out there saying that they can, well, I'd have done this, I'd have done that. You don't know what you
jump in there,
done.
buddy, and figure
That's
it out.
Exactly
See what you
right.
do.
We've had a lot of people getting these cars.
Because I thought that, looking at that video, I saw it, I thought, there's something weird there. It doesn't look right, you know, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like it's just like every time you try to make a correction, it would just accelerate again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, just like I say, a lot of people will say, I would have done this, I would have done that. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's easy to do that from the couch.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But Quayne goes on to take the win, and if I think that he has moved to 4th in points from 12th. So
that's another big jump. Wow, there's a bunch of swings and points this weekend.
Yeah. And then Chase Howard from 8th to 5th. So it's they're because of some of the top runners that didn't come this weekend. In AGS, Gabriel didn't show up. Mm-hmm. And then you had Leslie go out the first round.
Mm-hmm.
You had Kenneth go out the second round.
Yeah.
I can't remember when Ben went out. I'd have to look, but you got all the big hitters.
Yeah.
With Gabriel not being there. And then those 3 going out early, that just opened the door.
Yeah, right.
But that's the way it is. Anybody can get taken out at any time. Going back to what we're talking about, it's a fine line.
It's why you race.
Yeah,
you can sit there and write them numbers down on what they've got every time, and that don't mean nothing. Till you line them up.
That's why we line up and call it eliminations after qualifying.
Exactly.
Leslie number 1 qualifier, he goes out first round.
Right.
I can't remember where Kenneth was at, but he goes out second round.
Mm-hmm.
Quayne ended up at the top of the heap at the end of the day because he made it down the track.
Exactly.
Almost didn't one time.
One time.
But he was there at the end, and then sometimes I looking back, I think it was in 19 maybe. When Dean Jonas won, at the end of the day, Dean was there, with not the fastest car.
Right.
And that's exactly what Quayne did. Quayne did the same thing in Indiana, but a technicality took him out of the win there a couple years ago.
Okay. So,
it's not like and it goes back to what we've talked about, how equal these cars are.
Very much.
Even a car that's a couple of tenths out can go to the winner's circle.
Of course.
Yep. So Greg Stell's went around this weekend, his car's looking better and better, and so.
Did he get his new motor in?
He's got his new engine in, 477. He's found some chassis issues. They've overcome them. Car's going straight. They found out that there was some problems, and they straightened them out. So, but those guys are not quitting.
No, you can tell there's no quit in them. No, you can tell that.
Quit. But next race up's Knoxville, June 1st, May 31st and June 1st.
Yep.
Talco West Clap today. Everything's looking good over there, ready to go. Looking forward for us being there. We always have a good car count there. Great fans in Knoxville. A lot of people show up for Knoxville. I already had people reaching out and say, "Hey, I'll see you in Knoxville and stuff."
That's great.
So we're looking good for that.
Knoxville last year we were down there. That was the first one I'd been at for some years now, and it was really good. It was a good time, good facility and everything.
Yeah, they're going through some, issues with rain and stuff over there. They had a lot of rain last year that rained them out, and there's a lot of things that they had planned on doing that they hadn't been able to get done. They got rained out last weekend there.
Oh, really?
So, that, when you get rained out, I mean, it takes money to make these improvements.
Exactly.
And when you get rained out, it's
hard, man. This weather nowadays is crazy around here. Seems like. I mean, last night, I know if you guys are watching, you're in the area. I hope everybody's good because it was some crazy storms that came through last night.
Yeah, it was real bad in Barnardsville.
Yeah, I saw some videos and
hail,
stuff.
Golf ball size hails are bigger. So. Yeah, and that's not something we usually see here. I mean, that's Midwest weather.
I don't even remember the last time we saw hail here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. But yeah, I hope everyone's okay. And it's a lot going on. With a lot of rain, and I guess it's the El Nino as they call it. I mean, it's just hit us hard this year.
Yeah, it definitely has.
And we're blessed to get the races in.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just without the hard work at Kil-Kare, without the dedication of the Southeast Gassers crew and hanging in there with it, Quayne and I went back to Quayne the other day that most race organizations would have give up.
Yeah.
But there's no give up in us. And we're looking forward to going back to Ohio. The fans are they're committed to be there. And the racetrack.
I started to say that earlier, but having people come up to you and different stuff like that and tell you thank you for coming, sure makes you happy to be there, don't it?
Oh, it
does,
I mean,
it just makes you tickled to drive up there and do it.
Yeah, there was a couple from Canada came up to me somewhere around the semifinals, I guess maybe, and said, "Hey, thank you for coming." He said I think they said that they lived in Florida in the winter and lived in Canada in the summer.
Oh, okay.
And said on their way back from Florida in 2017, I think it was, they stopped by Shadyside. And they didn't say how many they'd been to, but they said we've been to a lot of them since.
Just
and he said this
one.
is close enough. And I'm not sure if they were coming back home to Canada or if they just drove down from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But they were just very appreciative of us coming up there and everything. And several people up there said that they would see us at Knoxville.
Really?
Yeah. So
great.
we're going to drive down to Knoxville. So
good.
So it's good stuff.
Do you guys have any update on PowerTube when the first episode's coming out?
Well, I
sprung that on you.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. It was supposed to be out last week, but Ray Edding, he's telling me that it should be out the first of next week.
First of next week. Okay.
Yeah, so. We'll post all that stuff when it's coming out. I did actually see a little clip on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be great.
Good.
I mean, it is really going to be good. He's telling me that the first one won't be as good as the second one. That we're going to get better as we go. But what I saw, I think it's going to really be good.
Good.
We're supposed to see a preview. This weekend, I guess, before it goes out.
Mm-hmm.
But he was already, making sure that we had all the credits and everything in line in the past couple of days.
Great.
So all the sponsors, all of our employees and everything and stuff. So it's going to be good. We're just. It's just been waiting, and it's that unknown.
Yeah,
it's just being anxious over wanting to see the first episode and everything.
Of course.
So, I think that the plan is for it to on Tuesday night. Is the best I can recollect that it's going to be Tuesday night. Monday night is going to be a pastime. Tuesday night's going to be us.
Okay, cool.
And then it'll play. I think it'll play over and over on Friday like 5 times or something.
Okay, gotcha.
So the last I heard, it was going to be at 8 o'clock across all time zones.
Right.
On Tuesday night. So.
Okay.
So
cool.
we'll post that.
We'll post it, yeah, and I'll try and post it on our page as well. Make sure it's shown.
Yeah, it's. So just like I say, the camera work on it and everything, and the cameras they've got, or the technology on them is great.
It's great. Good.
So they have to. These things get hot, So they have to go swap them out during the race.
The cameras do?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so they either have to spray compressed air through them or swap them out.
Wow.
We figured out it was faster to swap them out, just have them ready, go down the track and set them up, and so that way it didn't hold my race up.
Yeah, right. At the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's what counts.
Yeah, we want to keep the cars going down the track, but it does hold us up, just a little bit, and they're getting better at it. So Ray and Fred are doing a great job. I worked with Fred this race, and we had it all timed out pretty good. So we knew when he could go.
Right.
We were trying to get it when there was a little break while they were resetting the computers and stuff, for the next class and stuff. So it worked out well this race. Of course, we'll all get better at it as we go. I think they had a camera in the announcer's booth this weekend.
Oh, cool.
So they'll be seeing some of that go on and everything and stuff. So it's all coming together. Looking forward to it.
Good. Yeah, good. I knew that was that's going to be a big deal, so I wanted to make sure that was we had some idea when it was coming.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, it's good. We got a new sponsor coming on board. XS Power Batteries. XS Power Batteries out of Knoxville, Tennessee. I've already received some of the stuff from them. We'll probably be rolling that out at Knoxville.
They make like super lightweight batteries, right?
9 pounds.
9 pounds.
9 pounds, and also they do all kinds of other batteries also.
Right.
So we're going to be. I'm not sure yet that maybe they could be set up and selling batteries at the track and stuff.
Very neat.
I got a jump box from them, and hadn't had to jump anything off in forever, and used it 4 times in one weekend.
Really? They knew you were going to need it.
Yeah. And none of them was mine.
Oh.
So it worked out pretty good, So it's a really nice, neat little compact deal, So.
Good.
I really liked it.
Cool, and I think Molly is sponsoring the race at Knoxville, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes, this is a Molly race. Yes, Molly Pistons, and they help us out a lot. They help a lot of the racers out.
Right.
A lot of the racers, and they design the pistons for them and stuff.
Turns out them guys know what they're doing.
Oh yes,
they've done they've done it for a day or two.
And they actually. I don't think I'm stepping out of line here, but I think they still help Tim Hall. I think they actually help sponsor him some.
Gotcha.
So,
cool.
So that's, Tim Hall Racing Engines. So, it's all good stuff. We're growing. We're getting better. We're learning. Not saying we're not making some mistakes, but we're learning from the mistakes we make.
That's all you can do. So. Do you have a tech report this week? I know you've been doing that, but if you don't have it, no problem.
Well, I was going to touch on that, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Over the winter, we had the scales down at Wayne Swafford's shop, and we disassembled them and went over them and did some stuff. I did some rewiring. We did some jacks on them to where they weren't riding up and down our wonderful highways on the load cells all the time.
Right.
So we did some screw jacks on them to where it'd lift them off of the load cell.
Makes sense.
And all that, of us doing all this and everything and us walking around this thing, we never thought to look at the axle bearings and spindle bearings.
Really?
Exactly. And but neither had Quayne Stott for many years.
Right. Understood.
So, as I said, we go to the end of 26 into Gate City, Virginia, hit 23 right there. I was at exit 1, and I get a call, and it's Tom. And he said, man, we got a problem. He'd run a wheel off, and it drug him. He was out passing a car. Run a wheel off of the scales, and it drug him into the median. Just praise God, we were blessed and nobody got hurt. We're not sure where the wheel went, but it's gone.
Yeah.
Evidently, it didn't hit nobody.
Good.
We don't know
That's
where it went,
positive.
but
Maybe we shouldn't have mentioned it on here. Maybe they probably get some claims.
but anyway, so mistake made. We should have posted on Facebook that we had a problem. You know, we had people in that area that could helped us
Right.
and would have helped us. So I called Leslie and Wayne, and they send a rollback from down South Carolina to come and get the scales. Tom comes onto the track. So we end up using setup scales.
Okay.
Jack a car up and set them on it.
Right.
So they randomly, our tech crew did a great job. Chris Smith, which is normally our scale guy, that uses the easy to use scales,
Right.
was right there with Sammy and John, and they randomly scale cars.
Okay.
You know, they would just call somebody out and scale them.
Gotcha.
You know, and so they did that. They did height checks there. They actually had them a little tent set up. I think I never did make it down there.
Gotcha.
But they jack cars up, set them on the scales, do fuel checks right there, and everything. So I think it worked out okay. Didn't have any complaints.
Right.
You know, so I guess it worked out okay.
Right.
If I didn't get any complaints.
That's fair.
But just like I say, our tech guys are great. They're doing a great job. You know, I mean, everybody's complying. You know, there's not been any issues. So people are seeing now that we're looking at cars. We're doing things that hadn't been done.
Right.
So they're looking at the cars themselves, like
Yeah.
they should have
Starting
been
to
doing,
thumb through that rule book a little more often.
like they should have been doing before. You know, but it's just like anything else. It's kind of like that. Kind of like those bearings.
The wheel bearings.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, we walked around it and never did a thing.
Not an issue until they are.
You know, the little trailer that I haul my golf cart on, I did them.
Yeah. You're right.
But didn't think of
Didn't think to do the scales. Oh, no.
And back to Johnny Powell and the hub savers. If we'd had hub savers on that thing, we maybe wouldn't have lost a wheel.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I mean, and when Tom was going to stop 8-10 miles down the road and get fuel, you know, he would have seen what was going on.
Right.
Would ran down to Auto Parts and probably fixed it.
Yep.
You know, so anyway, you know, I mean, lesson learned.
Yep.
You
For
know,
sure.
Mistake made, lesson learned.
Yeah.
You know, so. But anyway, I'll go down to Wayne's in a few days here, and we'll go over the scales, make sure there didn't hurt anything when it dropped down and drug down the highway.
Right.
I'm not sure where I know the hubs are already there. Went ahead and bought hubs for both sides, and
Probably time to do them all, right?
yeah, and we're gonna have one, and you just have to see the scales to know how they work. But they slide in and out. You just pull a pin and take the whole wheel, spindle, axle, and everything out of it,
Gotcha, okay.
and then we set them down on the ground.
Okay.
So we'll have an extra hub assembly, axle, spindle, everything in the box truck now.
Right. Yep. That
You
makes
know,
sense.
So we got to come up with another spare. But anyway, you know, I mean, I'm glad you asked that because I needed to talk about that. I had planned on talking about that.
Good.
But yeah, we made it through it. It did well. You know, I mean, I know I'm not sure how many cars they did weigh.
Gotcha.
So,
That's no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, when it's kind of like a drug test, I guess. You know, I mean, you don't know if you're going to get pulled out, so you do the
So
right thing.
you better just be right all the time.
Yeah, so it's all good. You know, I mean, all of our crew did a great job this weekend. You know, I mean, in and out of the tower because of the rain showers and everything and stuff. And you know, so long trip up there. Bonnie Jones, which is Chase's fiance. You know, I'm sure it was tough on her watching Chase go through all that out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad Angela was up there with her during that and everything and stuff. You know, and Angela's had a few little health issues between the races and stuff, but she's feeling better this weekend.
Good.
But Bonnie was right there with her. You know, I mean, Bonnie's backing her up. You know, had David in the tower and everything. So, but Rich. You know, Rich always does a great job parking and in the staging lanes and everything and stuff. You know, this is a close race for Rich. You know,
Yeah, I was going to say this is probably by far his closest.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, it's a close race it's the closest race. I won't say a close race, but it's the closest race for Greg.
Oh, right, that makes sense too.
8.5 hours.
Is it 8.5 hours?
8.5
Really?
8.5 hours. For
I would have never thought it was that far.
8.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
I think it's like 22 to Shadyside.
Holy cow! I had no idea he was driving that far.
Yeah.
I had never Google mapped it.
Yeah, so he's probably 18, 20 hours from Knoxville. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
We talk about commitment. We were talking about them not being quitters. Right there is proof that they'll figure it out.
And it was good to see the Wallace family there and the Indian Express this weekend. They're from Wisconsin also. You know,
okay.
I'm not sure how close they live to Greg, but I'm sure it wasn't. I mean, it's their closest race also.
Right.
You know, shout out to the Middle Dantries in Ohio. They were going to make, New York, they were going to make the race in Ohio, but he had some health issues. So hopefully they're doing okay. You know, Bill Revels has had some health issues. You know, keep all these people in your prayers. You know,
for sure.
It's good to see Bully back at the race this weekend. So, you know, lots of things going on, the Jones family and stuff. So keep all these people in your prayers.
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all good?
We're good.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys back here again after Knoxville. Make sure you go over there June 1st, May 31st, and into June 1st. So definitely go check them out and go see them. Knoxville is a great facility, and they're going to put on a heck of a race. I'm hoping that you guys have a little better luck with the weather this time. So knock on wood on all that.
it's due for weather. And don't forget, it's Quayne 1, Leslie 0.
That's right.
You know,
don't forget it.
In the feud.
Because Quayne won't let you, I promise. All right, guys. See you next time.
Thank you.